So I want to see them grow. I want to see a better environment. I want to intervene on these relations and coordinations among people in the world and see this atmosphere of self, and also to make peace in my going back to heaven than for me considering to go to war or get yourself involved again. No, it shouldn't be like that.
Well, I understand it shouldn't be like that, but like I mentioned and I read the stats, if more people are getting older because you are living better, your healthcare is doing well for you, that means you have more young people who will be working to provide that pension for you. So that means you may have to work for longer. Whether or not you work for longer, what are the things that are you making plans for your twilight?
That is what I am talking today. Development. That is.
Oh dear. All right. Please, if you can, do return that call. Bit of a challenge there. This one here says, Jude, good morning. Did you just say in Japan that people are being asked to come together? Yes, they are. Yes, the government is not even pretending about it. They are actively trying to get young people to come together, to date more, to even get married, so they can have more children. The population in Japan is aging. The same thing with Germany, the same thing with Russia. Look, a lot of these countries all over the world are having a lot of people live beyond 65 to 75. Doesn't mean that people don't get to, as it were, cross the Rubicon when they're 50s or whatnot. No. The point here is this. Please listen to this. The point here is this. That as more people are living longer, it means that the government, right, will have to pay pensions, or let's say it's your company, for example, we have to pay pensions for a longer period. Those who are in the insurance business, they obviously will probably know exactly what I'm talking about. If your pension is meant to start when you retire at 65, 67, for example, all right, and give or take, you live, a good quality of life between 67 and let's say 87. So that's 20 years or 18 years, depending. You will find out that in some places, some people who retire early or even retire at that, in quotes, 67, are living up to 90. They still need their pensions paid. And so it means that the company will have to be paying that same amount of salary or give or take inflationary inputs for another 20, 30 years. As opposed to if you retire at the age of 70, all right, give or take, maybe another 10 years or 15 years, you say goodbye to this lovely earth and go and rest. That was always the plan. But now it's changed. People are living longer. And I think this is the frightening thing about, particularly for our Western audience, the fact that younger couples are not, one, staying longer in marriages, and are not even giving birth. The birth rates are slowed down in some countries. Once again, don't take Jude's word for it. I don't want to give you a lot of stats I don't want to pour a lot of stats down your throat. But let's stick to this. Old age, senior citizens from 60 and above. Have you thought about what your life should look like when you turn 65, when you get to 70? Have you made that plan? Are you conscious about that point in your life? 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. Good morning, Jude. Unfortunately, we live in a time where people are just trying to live day by day. You're talking to people who don't even believe in insurance, and you're telling them that old age is coming. Some people will work until they drop. It's a fact of life. There's nothing we can do about it. I don't think there's nothing we can do about it. And I sure as hell won't want to encourage anybody to work until they drop. But old age will come. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to come. Question is, what are your preparations? Have you started? And Opataka returns. asking this morning, how prepared are you for the twilight, for the later part of your years? Are you making conscious efforts? It's interesting that, we live in a part of the world where a lot of people, intentionally, or do I say maybe culturally, prepare for this. People talk about, leaving behind a great inheritance for their children. But we live in a time, modern time, like I said earlier, where technology has afforded us a much improved quality of life in terms of health, that is. But, some places have it more than others. The question is, as governments around the world are struggling to meet up pension payments because more people are living longer, it means that more people at some point will have to work for longer. Are you ready for that time? What adjustments need to be made? Oh, well, Isaac here says, good morning, Jude. I think everybody should make this plan in the back of their head. True, nothing is granted. Your best laid plans may not even be fulfilled. You may even pass on before you get to 50 or even 60. But it is important to know that things and the quality of life will change. We live in a time where my gray hairs and walking stick would be the doorway for me to get into places that I need not stretch. But Jude, is our economy and even our society treating the aged fair? Are we? Thank you very much, by the way, Isaac. Are we treating the elderly amongst us fairly? I know that in the EU, in the UK in particular, senior citizens, don't pay the same amount for bus fares. Some routes, they tell you, we have a seniors discount. If you come to some supermarkets, if you're above 65, you can prove that you're above 65, whether or not you're retired, but you have your, citizens, beneficiary card or something like that, you get a discount. I don't know if that applies here. I don't know, but we'll find out after the break. We have headline news coming up shortly.
Talk radio.
about it. But you have to ask, those same individuals, if you know them, maybe they're your uncles or your aunties, or even your moms or your dad, in the next 10 years, would they be as strong as they are today? And do you think you are ready to step in the role of caregiver, provider? And if you're listening to me right now, you are in your 60s, your 50s, heck, even your 40s. Have you thought for a second what life can, could, and should be for you when and if you do get to the age of 70 or 80? Not everyone is going to be looking like Betty White, who was still walking and working up until 95 plus. Or Hugh Hefner, for example. Billionaire, philanderer, playboy, the owner of Playboy, but still lived well into his 90s. Not everybody's going to do that. But there are changes that must be made. The question is, are you prepared? And as somebody asked, is the Nigerian system, is it treating the elderly, the senior citizens, fairly? What are the changes you'd like to see? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your conversation station.
Stimulating and insightful conversations. Hello, Port Harcourt. 92.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
So 08179230002, 08179230003, 08179230002, 08179230007. That's where you find us with WhatsApp. So we'll do our calls. I beg your pardon. You call. If you want to send us a message via WhatsApp, please use the number 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. That's where you find us with WhatsApp and Telegram. And I do believe we have a link up right now on Facebook. So yes, why don't you jump onto the world of social media, facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH, facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. We're talking about the aging populace. And my question is, are you ready for old age? Are you ready to be part of the group that people will call, very fondly in this part of the world, I don't know about any other part, but here, particularly if you're from Edo, is Epa or Wanle. Once you get to that age, this, when you look like you are 65, 70, or in fact, from where I'm from, it's almost criminal. It's almost criminal for you to even say, good morning, sir. Particularly if you're in the village, it's online. Around wine. You can't even say, sir. Sir feels a little mundane. So there's a bit of respect that comes, latitude even, that comes with getting those grays and getting that old. But are you prepared for it? Do you think you will live the kind of life you would like to live at that age? In France, big fight. The government says, I'm sorry, we can't let you guys retire anymore before 60. You have to get ahead of time. We have to push it because, we cannot be paying, pensions for nearly 30 years. We would go broke because the young population are not enough to meet the needs of the older population. This is the real issue. There's an aging population and it is a global phenomenon. Africa seems to be a very interesting exception because we live, particularly in Nigeria, where over 65% of the population are, above, the teenage years. There's a very healthy, youthful population in Nigeria. Maybe that's one of the reasons why you have a lot of people jackpotting. But the point is, even when those people jackpot, those people who are 40 today will not be 40 in the next 20 years. Are you making preparations? What do you think your life would be like in the next 20 years? Old age comes for us all. There's nothing we can do about it, really. On WhatsApp, Emmanuel says, whether we like it or not, old age will surely come. In preparation for my old age, I want to stop working by 60 while my money and my investments start to work for me so that I enjoy my life and my family. When an elderly man cries profusely, it is as a result of what he ought to have done when he was young and he refused to do. But now he cannot do. Make hay when the sun shines, Emmanuel says. I agree, make hay while the sun shines. But even those with the best intentions, like I said, because of the aging population, governments around the world have had to even employ people who were, in quotes, senior citizens. One of the callers, earlier said that, hey, look, we shouldn't do that. At that time when I retire, I should be, flexing with my children. But that's not the case for everybody. But anyway, I wonder what your plans are. Good morning, Jude. The far opposite is the case for the aged here in this state, especially as it is seen with the previous government. For even the payment of gratuity, which is their right after active service to the state, was a challenge, as some even died without getting their gratuity. It beams. Oh dear. It beams. That's a very interesting reminder. It beams in Port Harcourt says, look, people were not being paid. I know whenever this comes up, it seems as though it's like flogging a dead horse. The government says they have. People say, man, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it there, government. We don't know whom it is that you're paying to, but it hasn't gotten to us. Now imagine somebody who's in the service. If you listen to me, you're in the service now. You really have to think about what quality of life you would like to live when you are 70. You need to think about the quality of life you would like to have when you get to that age. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. Now, please, what is the definition of fairly in the context of this conversation? So much older Nigerians have lived their lives claiming, in quote, football age. So officially, certain things cannot be done for them, or being extremely wicked to their sons-in-laws and daughters-in-law. So on a personal level, some things cannot be done for them. So what is the fair treatment required now? Well, that's on on the personal interaction. This issue of how do you treat your son or your daughter-in-law? That's on a general basis, right? That rather personal basis. But if you are, whether or not you treat your son-in-law nice or your daughter-in-law fairly or whatnot, the question is, when you are that age, let's say 65, let's put a good number to it, 65, 70, it should be a thing of pride for you to be able to come out on the streets, maybe in your car if you can afford one, and then have some level of respect accorded to you. Not because you saved the country from, poverty, or there was a meteorite coming to hit, Port Harcourt. No, but by virtue of your age and grace, hopefully, maybe you lived a decent life. Maybe, I think, just by that alone, there should be some special treatment. Like I said, in the UK in particular, senior citizens go to supermarkets and they are giving discounts, even going to the cinema. If everybody's paying, for example, 2,000 naira to watch a movie, if you go to the cinema and they can tell clearly that you are a senior citizen, they won't take 2,000 naira from you, or rather, they ought not to take 2,000 naira from you. Instead, they probably take 1,000 naira from you. In fact, in some places that I've read about, they have senior day discounts where it's as much as 70%. But you see, all of those discounts come at a cost. Those discounts come not just because you're old, but because there is a healthy population of young people that would work and put in the money into the economy that can cover up the discounts that they are giving you. Once again, we're talking about Nigeria now. Nigeria is great. We are young people. But what if in the next 20, 30 years, what the other parts of the world is experiencing, we start to experience? Older people, not a lot of young people. So what will be the quality of your life when you get to 70? When you get to 75? Let's get to the phone lines now. 017923 0002, 017923 0003, 0817923002, 0817923007, 92.3. Oh dear. Apologies. Please don't call that line. If you're trying that line and it seems to be bad, 0817923002, 0817923003. Good morning. A lot of old people are living a life of plenary in this country. Many of them are not living the life they expected, and that's because the government has failed them. Maybe some of them did not invest properly, I don't know. But whether you invest or not, just by virtue of living a good life, you should be able to be taken care of by the government. I think the government needs to do more to protect the old people. Yeah, once again, government. Don't get me wrong, I am not exonerating and I'm not saying that we should, as it were, exclude the government from, social welfare. But hey, already there's a huge question mark to the quality of welfare services we have in this country. A huge one. How many of you have visited the elderly homes recently? How many elderly homes do we even have in Port Harcourt? Let's be honest. I know only about 2. The old people homes. Only know 2. How many? I've read that in the West, for example, some people who have aged parents, probably who are like 80 or so, because of the nature of their work and they cannot afford round-the-clock care for their senior citizens, they send them to, those elderly resorts, where they have nurses and minders. They give them activities, they can go out, they play, movie night. It's kind of like being in a boarding house for the old people. But there are still old people who are begging on the street. See, one of the worst things I think I've got to see in my time as a Nigerian on this planet, see someone older than my father, older than my uncles, under the bridge. Whether the person was living with dementia or he was sick, it is frightening. It is saddening. We are young. I have no idea what that person did 40 years ago. Maybe he was a soldier. Maybe he was a bank manager. Maybe he was a driver. I don't know. But living under the bridge at this age? 92.3. Good morning, please.
Thank you, bro, Jude.
Good morning.
Yes. Life in this place for Nigeria is a frustrated life. Imagine children of 18, young boys of 2025 that have learned wedding work, barbing salon work, gentry work, and other skills. There is no constant light for them to run these great and noble businesses and become worthy men as they grow. Then talk less of old men and women that have served as civil servants, military men, company workers that are 80, 90, that are on the road begging for what to eat. So, entirely, life in this country is a frustrated life. You made a reference of UK. One of my sons, they traveled to Asia 2 months ago as a student. Not up to 2 weeks. He told me that he has gotten a work in a country for him to be schooling and working. this amount of money is being paid to a student. We have not started. We are joking in this place. Thank you.
Well, whilst we might be joking, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't start to talk about what we need to do. A lot of people like to make this phrase. We know what to do, but we refuse to do it. Do we really? Do we really? Do we really? It's an aging population globally. But what's the preparation? Anyway, Jude, I partly live in the UK and they usually need paperwork to process those discounts for the elderly. No matter how you look, if someone has been claiming football age, even to the point of filling out forms and the records are messed up, certain entitlements can't be claimed or paid. Also in the UK, older people are kept in nursing homes. Yes, they are not resorts. Some are uncomfortable and they have been undercover officers or journalists who have exposed some things in those places. Very true. There's been some shortcuts, underhanded dealings there where some of the senior citizens were abused, some even punched. Frustrated individuals coming around kicking old people because the old people can't even retaliate. They get away with it. Anyway. For many of them who were mean, including to their sons and daughters-in-law, they don't even get visited by their families. See what happens? You're old. That care that you would like, you probably would crave for, you can't get it. Once again, are you actually intentionally preparing for old age? If I'm honest, prior to Sunday, I hadn't thought about it. I know I made a comment on one of my shows. I said, when I was younger, I used to think 1890 was far away. But here we are. We're closer to 1890 than we were 25 years ago. And so it is creeping. It is creeping on you, Jude. It's creeping. It is fine to support responsible senior citizens. People, you lived a responsible life when you were young, but irresponsible senior citizens like old people who were into yahoo, hookup, should be treated with disdain so as to deter young people who want to toe their path. Chief Obuwen. I didn't think of that one. I honestly did not think of that one. Let me read this message again. It is fine to support responsible senior citizens, people who lived a responsible life when they were young, but irresponsible senior citizens like old people who were into yahoo, hookup, etc. should be treated with disdain so as to deter young people who would want to toe their path. And I'm curious, what about, senior citizens who were senators in the 5th or 6th Republic, or senior citizens who were military administrators, in the 80s and 90s. And people said, this person was a bad administrator. He stole billions. No doubt. What about commissioners? What about chairmen of committees that shed money? When they get to 80, how do we treat them? How should we treat them? Oh boy. Children are just like old people, Jude. They need all the support that they can get. A man may have been wise in his 40s, 50s, and 60s, but life happens. The energy he has, and sometimes even the memory may fail him in his 70s and in his 80s. So they need constant care. If I were young people today, I would start to save and plan towards that age where I can afford people to care for me. To care for you. 92.3, good morning, please. Hello, good morning. Oh dear. Hello, can you hear us, please? Good morning. All right, apologies. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, if I'm a young person, I'll be working towards making enough money so I can be taken care of when I get to that age. So, there's a role for the government, and also there's a role for your company. That's why people like to work for good businesses. But even you, those of you who have businesses, it behoves you to save something for the future, an investment of some sorts. Old age is coming. And sometimes it just appears. I read a book. Someone says, it was just a minute ago, I was in my 30s, swimming. And now, here I am, in my 70s, in a wheelchair. Life happens. My name is Jude. We'll go on a break. News comes up your way, noon.
You are tuned in to
Nigeria Info.
We'll be right back after this.
All the good.